So business constellations, if you think about constellations as a term, we think about stars. And I don't mean astrology. I mean, we think about when we see those stars in that formation, it creates this kind of a pattern. So a constellation is how elements sit in relationship to each other and what pattern arises as a result of that relationship. And business constellations are a way of taking issues inside a business, of a business nature, and then representing them. And we usually use people, but we can use objects. There's different ways of doing it, but it is representing the elements contained within that issues system. And if we use people, which is one of the forms that we use, then the people can actually describe what is going on for the element. So it allows the system to communicate what's going on between the elements of the system. Now, we have no way of knowing that. I mean, the truth is, we kind of intuitively know, but we have no way for making it object and no way for making it being able to communicate. So with business constellations, we can actually make the system's elements evident and the relationship between the elements discussed. And then that actually makes it possible for us to work out, well, what would happen in the system if you changed certain elements or did certain things with certain elements. My experience is that when you do it, it gives a whole new language. There are profound insights. And usually very unexpected actions arise, so you're genuinely creating new possibilities, new futures. When we're creating, typically, if we're creating something new, we don't know how to create it. If we think we know how to create it, it means we're drawing on the past under the illusion we're going to create something new. So actually what we do is create new versions of the past instead of something completely new. So true creativity requires us to do something completely different from what we have done before, which means we don't know how it's going to turn out. It's an experimental process. So what the business constellations does is actually allows you to reveal possible actions that you could take that you would never have thought of, but you can sense how the dynamics will play out. So it's almost like it gives you a sense of what's possible or what's likely or what makes sense to the system, not what makes sense to you, because if it makes sense to you, you're creating from the past. But we're intelligent beings. When we can see system dynamics, actually new possibilities become evident to us. So it's a very, very potent method. And if you do it with a group, it's phenomenal because the whole group experiences the same thing at the same time. So the degree of, and they can test their thinking. So even if they have doubts or skepticism about it, they can test it live. So the opportunity for alignment and conviction and commitment is very, very strong. So it actually assists with collaboration and co-creation. And particularly if everybody's in the room and they experience this thing at the same time, and they see that X movement will lead to all this problem and Y movement will lead to all this leverage, they see it, they experience it. So there isn't a dispute about it because they actually experience it. So it's a very, very, in my mind, a very, very, and my experience, a very potent method for this getting quantum shifts. It's pure gold.